Medicaid got way too big because Barack Obama made Obamacare, and all those states got the free money. And now all of a sudden, Medicaid doesn't look anything like it was supposed to, and it's 95% financed by the federal government. It's supposed to be a state program.
And the longer we leave it that way, the more permanent that becomes.
Because people get addicted to the free money.
Yeah, so people get addicted to that free money, a thing that you only ever say about the poor's getting some minimal return on the money they pay in through taxes. If it's billions going to Elon Musk or loans that'll eventually be forgiven going to rich people under PPP or whatever, that's not free money. They're not addicted. It's only the poor's that are lazy parasites. But that is Brian Kilmeade, a multi-millionaire, talking about how people who earn $17,000 a year have it too easy, and they've had it too easy for too long, and they really need to stop sucking off the government. And anyway, there was also some issues with what he said, not just moral issues, but factual issues. It's not free money. We paid for it. That's what taxes are. That's the states getting a return on the money that they paid. Americans pay into it. The states pay those taxes. And also, the individual people don't get checks. They're not cashing Medicaid checks. It's going to doctors. It's going to hospitals. The idea that you're going to shame people for having the minimal health insurance that they're allowed to have with their incredibly tight incomes. And you're being told that by that guy that doesn't have to worry about a damn thing for the rest of his life in terms of his money, in terms of his health insurance, is just grotesque. And Kilmeade, every once in a while, he's one of the few Fox people that can say something that's not actually absolutely god awful. But this is just terrible. And he's not the only one, by the way. We can actually show Maria Bartiromo has been encouraging the Republicans to be even more harsh when it comes to Medicaid.
Look, obviously you're zeroing in on Medicaid reform right now, and unfortunately you don't have any help from your colleagues in the Democrat colleagues. I mean, they are attacking you, saying you're gonna cut people's Medicaid, and yet they can't even stay awake in the meeting, right? The House Energy and Commerce Committee advanced the legislation. Congratulations to contain those cuts to Medicaid and healthcare provisions. Thank you for your work on the House Energy and Commerce Committee. Everybody was, rooting you on. You advanced the biggest Medicaid rewrite in the program's 60-year history yesterday. Those changes expected to generate at least $715 billion in savings. But this debate over Medicaid reform is now being framed by Democrats as a life or death issue. Well, you've got $36 trillion in debt. Isn't it time to start looking at the mandatory spending and trying to figure out how you're actually going to cut? I mean, I know nobody wants to say this, but you've got to cut stuff like Medicaid, don't you?
So it's unfair to say that it's cuts, as she encourages cuts to happen. She's celebrating the over $700 billion in cuts while pretending that nobody's gonna lose their health insurance. And also saying the Democrats are being hyperbolic by describing this as life or death when she's literally talking about health insurance. That's the area of life and death. That's how medicine works. But yeah, it's amazing that they can get away with this, Cenk. They're just so bloodthirsty at this point.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get back to free money because I got a great number to show you guys in a second. First on Bartiromo. She's like, oh, this $36 trillion in debt. I mean, it's outrageous. That's why I'm in favor of a $5 trillion tax cut for the rich. But let's make sure that we cut Medicaid because that'll show the poor's, right? Like, you know who your master is. It's people who watch, it's awful CEOs and executives who watch my despicable show, Maria Bartiromo says, right? She doesn't care about the debt. She's never cared about the debt. Every time she talks about the debt, she's a giant liar. She's been in favor of every giant tax cut. All she wants is more money for the rich. That is the whole purpose of Maria Bartiromo, okay? Now, next thing is, we asked the poll here in the live show. Show's live, of course, 6 o'clock Eastern every day. And you guys get to participate, and so I'm curious what you guys think. Will Republican voters turn on Trump if he cuts Medicaid? Okay, oh, look at that, even 59% already saying yes, okay? I might drive that number up because of the number of the stats I'm about to tell you. First of all, they're gonna cut over 8 million people from Medicaid. If you think those are all Democrats, you don't know anything about Medicaid in this country, okay? So at least half of those folks are Republicans. So there goes 4 million votes because You think they're gonna be like, oh, Trump cut my Medicaid. I guarantee you what they're gonna say is, I thought he was gonna cut other people's Medicaid. Or I thought that he wasn't gonna touch Medicaid. He said he wasn't gonna touch Medicaid. No, he's uniparty. He's an establishment Republican who serves the rich. And this is gonna be a giant wake-up call. By the way, by the end of this process, they'll have cut 15 million people from Medicaid, okay? So now, the next part of that is 62% of Republicans either have been on Medicaid themselves or know someone else that has been on Medicaid. So when you cut Medicaid, you think there's gonna be no consequences for Republicans, you're wrong. So will hardcore MAGA be like, yes, cut more? Yes, they will. But not all of Trump's voters, tens of millions of Americans, are hardcore MAGA. A lot of them have no idea what Trump's about to do, and they're gonna get in for a rude awakening. In fact, here's graphic 2. In the most recent KFF tracking poll, more than 3/4 of Americans held favorable views of Medicaid, 77%, including 6 in 10 Republicans, 63%, and at least 8 in 10 independents and Democrats, 81% for independents, 87% for Democrats. So 63% of Republicans like Medicaid and they don't want you to cut it. And they're gonna cut it, and what is it in service of? And that leads me to my final number. So free money, okay. Well, they're cutting a tremendous amount from Medicaid. They're gonna also cut from Affordable Care Act, and they're also gonna cut SNAP, that's food stamps. That's 1.1 trillion in cuts. Well, that's a lot of cuts, okay? I mean, it's kind of terrible who they're cutting from, but at least that's a number, right? So where's that 1.1 trillion? Finally, Maria Bartiromo is so happy because it's going to make sure that we pay down the debt, right? Nope. It is going to tax cuts for people with incomes above $500,000. The entire 1.1 trillion is just for people making over $500,000 a year. It is literally robbing the poor to pay the rich. If you think this is populism, you might want to buy a dictionary.
Yeah, this is going to be deeply unpopular. It's going to be a disaster. There's just no way to justify cutting Medicaid, which this idea of free money, as if it's an extravagance that people are participating in when they go to the doctor when they're sick. Like that's what they're selling this as. People getting free money, some entitlement or whatever, meaning they get to go to the doctor when they have medical issues. And in order to, again, the richest people in our country, corporations and individuals making $500,000 or more, it's unconscionable. There's just no other way to put it. And if you guys will remember, during the previous Trump administration, the most unpopular thing he did, the thing that tanked his ratings, his approval rating, the single biggest thing was the tax cut that he did the first time. This will be the exact same thing.
Yep. And so after he wrecks the economy with the tariffs and then ruins our credit rating with this giant tax cuts for the rich, then they'll say poor people want too much free money. Hilarious. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.